Hello, all. So, I invested in a wagon, which allowed me to bring more of my fitness equipment that I have at home to the park. So, I have my 35-pound kettlebells with me, my 25-pound competition standard kettlebell, and my 15-pound steel mace. I'm going to use all of the equipment that I have to do sort of a full body workout. And yeah, that's going to be the theme for today. So, with the cable, starting off with one arm cable rows for 10 each hand, and then I'm going to superset that with offset loaded cleans. So, in one hand, I'm going to hold the 35-pound kettlebell while doing cleans with my 25-pound kettlebell. I'm going to do 5 each side, or 5 one side, and then switch. So, all of that looks like this. So, with the single arm dumbbell rows, or the cable rows, I like to keep some distance between me and the cable and lean forward a little to exaggerate the stretch in the lats, and even rotate my arms a little inward to further exaggerate that stretch, and then row. After 10, switching hands. Then after that, going to hold the kettlebell or do the offset loaded cleans. So yeah, uh, these two movements aren't movements that are often supersetted together, but you know, there's no rule that says that you can't. So yeah, gonna do these two movements together for about 5 sets, and then on to the next thing. So one of my philosophies behind training is if your body can move a certain way, then it's probably good to train it. And like I've noticed there's a lot of kettlebell movements where you hold a certain weight in one way, so I was just doing one of them where I'm holding a kettlebell and doing cleans with the other. Uh, but very rarely do I see that incorporated with cables. So I've decided to try out something where I'm going to hold one of the kettlebells in clean position, and then I'm going to perform rows with the other, and then I'm going to superset that with a steel mace, lunge to shovel. All of that looks like this. Starting off with the kettlebell in clean, then the cable, switching sides. Then with the steel mace, going to do a lunge and then a ballistic curl to transfer. But while I'm doing the lunge, I'm also going to do a shovel motion. Looks like this. So yeah, I'm going to repeat these two movements for a bit. Um, with the clean and row, I notice that I have to pay a little extra attention to keep one side tight so that I can hold the kettlebell. And then while rowing, it's just overall a different stimulus. I don't know if it's any better or worse than any other kind of row, but like I mentioned before, if your body can perform a movement, I think it's good to train it. So yeah, I'm gonna do this for a bit. So for the next set of exercises, gonna do chest and arms. So moving away from some of the unconventional combination stuff and doing some more traditional exercises. Going to do single arm cable chest presses with a neutral grip, and then do, well, this is kind of unconventional, but do hammer grip curls but with cloth attached. So I'm using my shirt. I'm just going to call it towel grip curls. The cloth or towel grip creates an instability component, forcing the biceps to work harder and also the forearms to work harder. All of that looks like this. So with the chest presses, I'm going to step ahead and make sure that my chest is fully stretched. And then I'm going to get the kettlebell or the weight off the ground so that I feel the tension. And then I'm going to do slow, controlled reps for 10 to 12. Really focusing on a full range of motion, not really trying to bounce out of the bottom. So I got 12, so I'm gonna do 12 on the other side too. And then gonna move into curls. Gonna repeat the movements in the same order as the previous exercise, so left and right arm. Again, focusing on not using any momentum, really doing very intentional contractions. Going for 10 each side. Gonna do this for 10 reps, 5 sets, and then on to the next thing. So for the next set of movements, moving into some triceps, biceps, and shoulders. So I've reduced the weight on the cable, so I've switched the 35-pound kettlebell with a 25-pound. Also, there's something about this cable that makes the perceived resistance feel a lot heavier. So for example, if I do the same weight at the gym, it feels a lot lighter. But that's besides the point. I guess it's more about the perceived resistance than the actual thing that's on there. So what I'm going to do, so I'm using my shirt to kind of use as a rope grip, and I'm going to do single arm tricep pushdowns to start off. Looks like this. Switching sides after 10. Then moving into some steel mace curl to presses. So I'm going to have the weight of the steel mace on one side, and I'm going to use the other hand to hold on to the handle, but very lightly, just to maintain the balance of things. Man, the dogs. And I hope this is recording properly. But yeah, the movement looks like this. So yeah, with the steel mace curl to presses, just because of all the weight being concentrated on one side, the contraction on the bicep feels a lot different. I'm also going for like 15 reps, so it's gives a good pump, especially after the triceps. So yeah, gonna do this for 5 sets. And yeah, then on to something else. So this next thing I'm doing is a giant set that I like to do for triceps, and I'm going to superset that with bicep movement. So with the cable, I'm going to do 40 reps back to back. Um, so I'm going to start off away from the cable, do 10 reps, take a step forward, do 10 reps, then take another step forward, do 10 reps, and then do overhead 10 reps. The act of stepping forward changes the range of motion, so at the far end it's very limited, so you get to exhaust the triceps at the tip of the range of motion. Then you go a little ahead, and then you exhaust a little more, and then a little more, and then just finish it off with overhead. All of that looks like this. Then moving to biceps. So with biceps, this is a fairly popular exercise. It's called 21s, but I'm going to do it by holding the kettlebell. 21s again, you do 7 half reps, bottom half, 7 half reps, top half, then 7 together. Similar concept of exhausting limited range of motion and then doing full range of motion. Supersetting triceps and biceps back to back gives a really good pump. It's also a really long set, so it is going to keep your heart rate high for a fairly long time. And so yeah, I'm going to do this for 3 sets, and then on to some experimental movements that I've been kind of brainstorming and I want to try them out. So this is a movement that I've been brainstorming today. So I hope I do this right. So step back and then have one hand row, and let me try it out once and see. Let me see if I make a mistake. 1 second. Okay, so opposite leg stays forward, and what I'm gonna do is step back with that leg and row with the right hand at the same time. So this ends up makes me end up in a position where the right side is completely tightened up and the left side is much more stretched out. So I follow this guy named David Weck. He's really cool. He invented the Bosu ball and a lot of other pieces of weight training equipment or just training equipment in general. And your body has this concept called the coil, where through rotation you're able to train your muscles in a more ideal way rather than just staying, I guess, tight and pulling with your arm. And one of the concepts is one side stays tight or like contracted while the other side stays stretched out. I should really like be able to express my thoughts on this more clearly, so pardon for that. But essentially what I'm trying to do is, as I row, I'm trying to get into a position where the entire side that's rowing is tight, and then the other side is completely stretched out, which is why I'm flaring out my left lat when I contract my right lat. Oh, so gonna do that for 10 each side. So the flaring of the opposite lat might be a little bit more clear here. I'm gonna do this for a few sets. Not supersetting this with anything. Just gonna do alternating sides for a bit. Probably, yeah, let's see what happens after. Ending off the workout with some kettlebell juggling freestyle. that's all for today's video. Hope you all got something out of this. See you all tomorrow.